It's Thursday night, it's 10 o'clock. You know what that means? It's a second helping of darts from the Super Series today as Group B is about to get underway. Now, the final players in action this week trying to make it through to finals night are about to make their way onto the stage. And Matthew Edgar has been with us all week watching the action in Groups A and C. And it's been a decent week so far, hasn't it?
It's been a tight week, it's been a close week, and that Group C, exactly the same sort of thing in regards to what we saw Group A, where everyone's bunched in, everyone's got an opportunity, no one's through, no one's out.
And this afternoon in Group C, we saw Ivo Lexma, who was in that Group A, really step it up a notch, didn't we? And he won 4 of his matches.
He did. I was really impressed with Ivo Lexma this afternoon. He got some real good consistency in there, which sort of bridged the gap between that high-end performance that we've seen from him so far. So I think he's going to be in there with a real good running tomorrow. He's got a couple of points advantage in terms of qualification. Here on debut, a player who doesn't play much on the tours, just sort of here and there, to get through to Saturday night would be a massive, massive achievement for him.
Yep, a Dutchman almost there. There's a Dutchman already there. The story of the week, Bradley Roos through as the Group A winner. In Group C, Jenson Walker, Alan Norris, Shane Hayward, Michael Huntley and Ivo Lexma, along with Jim McEwen, all still have chances to get through, Lexma leading it. But tonight, the middle of your screen there, Andy Hamilton, Jeff Smith and Tommy Morris coming in to join David Cameron and John Michael. That is a tasty group.
Yeah, it's going to be one I'm really looking forward to. Mostly at the moment, I'm not going to lie, Jeff Smith, someone I'm really looking forward to seeing here at the Super Series. I've been looking forward to seeing him for about 6 months or so now, when it looked evident he was going to be losing his tour card. And I thought, who's going to be the guy in 2024 who is the man in this arena? And he ticks all those boxes.
Well, do the bookies think that he is the man that's going to win this group? Yes, they do. 15-8 favourite. Jeff Smith comes in on his debut. Tommy Morris, interestingly, separating him and his fellow Canadian David Cameron. And Andy Hamilton, the rank outsider, but that is quite a short price for an outsider.
I'm surprised, actually, that they've gone with Hamilton and John Michael as the two sort of outsiders of the group. John Michael played very well in his Group A campaign and is an ex-tour card holder as well, the 16-time champion of Greece. And also Andy Hamilton, who's hitting a little bit of form at the moment as well, picked up that qualification spot to the Champion of Champions event in Blackpool coming up on the Seniors Tour. So lots of positivity for those two. So I am surprised that it's that way around.
Yeah, it could be another close group. It could be the kind of theme of the week. Let's see if the punters can find any value. Here is the treble today for the bet builder, paying 9.5 to 1 basically. Cameron to beat Smith, though, a bit of value they think they've found. Their first leg checkout, I mean, they're really scraping the barrel, aren't they now, trying to find some form of value. 11 to 10 under 40.5, and the match 180s market, at least 3 in the match between Morris and Hamilton. What do you think of that?
It's scraping the barrel, I think you said. There's so many great markets out there tonight, and there's a lot of head-to-head clashes where you get some real good value in a single play on the 1x2, the head-to-head sort of markets. So I don't see why you got to get too extravagant tonight. I think there's plenty of value just on those straights, but you know I'm a big fan of Jeff Smith, and that David Cameron to beat him, I'm not sure.
Yeah, if you are going to have a bet, please do gamble responsibly. So not like that, basically. It's 18 plus and begambleaware.org. Right, the toughest question for you, I think the same tomorrow will be such a hard question to find 3 players from this 5. Who are you going for?
I think Jeff Smith gets through. Surprise, surprise, after what we said so far. I think John Michael's in with a good shout, and maybe the hammer.
There we go. Matthew Edgar has spoken, and I spoke to Jeff Smith a little earlier ahead of his opening match against David Cameron. Jeff, welcome to the MODUS Super Series. Just sum up how you feel coming here today.
I'm actually really looking forward to this. It's something new for me. I haven't been away from the Pro Tour for a few years, and it's nice to back to normal, and I'm happy to have an invite to come here.
Yeah, you took a decision to step away from the PDC Pro Tour. What's it been like for the last 3 months?
Yeah, it's been awesome, really. I've still played quite a bit of darts, but everything's been around home. So it's nice to be home with your family, and like I said, the last 4 years, I know they've been missing me, and it's been good to be back with them again.
Did having the option to play in some of the stuff like this influence that decision?
Absolutely. I've got a free rein to go where I want, when I want, and that's pretty much the approach I've been taking this year, and I'm just looking forward to what's next.
Obviously you achieved a lot in the game. We've seen you in the World Championship final at Lakeside, a Pro Tour final as well. What are your ambitions now over the next few years?
Yeah, I've got the Championship Darts Corporation at home, and like I said, I basically can achieve pretty much what I've done through the PDC through them, but difference is in 5 weekends instead of 40. So a lot less air time, and but at the same time there's still the rewards. So it'd be nice to give back to the local game again, and that's where I'm going from here.
Just coming here as well to the Super Series, the group that you're in looks pretty stacked with talent. What are your thoughts about your chances over the next couple of nights?
Yeah, it's every time you take the line at this series, it looks like it's there's players that you weren't expecting to do well come out like a house on fire. But if you just put your head down, go to work, try to get in that top 3, squeeze your way into the finals on Sunday and take it from there.
And a player you know well in your first match, David Cameron, an all-Canadian clash. Is that going to make you a little bit more comfortable straight away on the stage, or the opposite?
Yeah, it's probably going to be both for both of us. We play each other so much that it's pretty much common grounds. You don't want to play somebody of Andy status right off the first bat. You're a little nervous going in, but this way it just lets you get going.
We look forward to it. Good luck.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, fantastic to hear from the silencer, and fantastic to have him on the Super Series stage. Jeff Smith making a long-awaited debut. He was known quite early over last season that he was planning to avoid a return to Q School and wasn't going to pursue a Pro Tour card. He explained some of his reasons why there, and one of them was the opportunity to play here at the Super Series. The 48-year-old Canadian, best known perhaps for that run to the Lakeside final 8 years ago, and he takes on a man he knows well, David Cameron, in his opening match, who has been here all week, and he's best known for a win at the Lakeside, the World Masters Seniors Champion in 2022.
I'm really excited to see Jeff Smith in this arena. Probably someone who was maybe a little bit unfortunate when you think about the year he lost his tour card.
Game on.
Picked up that title, the North American title at New York, which normally would have qualified him for the World Championship, but
100.
a rule change within the PDC system meant that he was not able to then take that position. The first player really to sort of fall foul of that new rule, which ultimately
100.
cost him a spot at the World Championship, which could have been enough to keep hold of his card.
$108.
Well, it didn't take him long, did it?
No, he's going to be a tough nut to crack in this, Jeff Smith. Good player,
58.
always consistent, very confident. I mean, have you seen his social media posts this afternoon?
No, I haven't. Do fill me and the viewers in.
Well, he couldn't hang the door up.
130.
The door up? He's not doing no
DIY.
DIY, no. He couldn't hang the board up on the back of the door, so he ended up hanging it on the mirror. No surround or anything, just a board on the mirror.
91.
That's going to be disorientating, isn't it?
Well, if he misses that, he's going to be in for a smashing night.
55.
I suppose it's his own version of a split screen.
He gets to check his throw, doesn't he? Make sure everything's in play, everything's going right, and well, it's going perfect here. A potential 13 darter to kick life off.
Game shot on a first
Yeah,
leg.
what a start
Jeff Smith.
to the Super Series for Smith. 13 dart leg.
Second
That
leg.
amounts
It's
to
David to throw first.
115.62
Game on.
average for those who like that kind of thing.
I think this is an ideal game as well for
59.
Jeff, because the surroundings are going to be very unfamiliar. He's probably never had Jack Garwood as a referee before, who's going to be refereeing all our games this evening. And that does matter to
100.
players. You do make reference to who the referee is, and you prefer referees over others. Not been on that stage, not been in this room, but the one thing that is very
85.
familiar to him is the opponent he's up against here in David Cameron. He'll be familiar with his strengths, weaknesses, the pace of his play.
95.
Did have a run, didn't he, to the final of a Pro Tour event a few years ago, Jeff Smith. Showed he could mix it
108.
with the best in PDC darts.
I mean, I might be getting a bit ahead of myself just on the fact of how much of a Jeff Smith fan I am, but
96.
we could be seeing before our eyes the winner of this series.
Oh, that is a big call. Going to bookmark that.
137.
Only one player can get through from 12 in a week. And Matthew Edgar, the Oracle alongside me, is
100.
picking one before they're
David,
even
you
in
require 40.
Champions Week as a potential series winner.
Game shot on a second leg.
David Cameron responds to the 13 darter he had against him with one of his own.
Third leg, it's Jeff to throw first. Game on. $83.
You know I like to be big and bold with my predictions, and
100.
sometimes they've landed.
I think we should do that, you
100.
know, in future series. Get all the pundits to write a name down, lock it away, and then on Champions Night we'll pull it out and decide which person wrote
60.
Matthew Edgar on their sheet of paper.
Can you pick yourself?
$100.
I think in the last, at least the last 3 series, if we had done that, I think some of those names would have probably been mentioned.
100.
Yeah, I think we'd have got a few of them right. I certainly went with Raymond Smith and the 2 Luke Littlers.
100.
Yeah, I think there would be pundits. I know pundits that are big admirers of Jim McEwen. And the first one, it was all new. Nobody really knew. I actually
45.
fancied Graham Usher in the
Jeff, you
first
require
series, and he reached the final,
118.
but he was demolished by the deserving champion Conan Whitehead.
98.
Remember that actually as one of the images that really stuck in my head, because Graham Usher chucked his darts on the floor, didn't he? He just threw them away. Very memorable moment.
100.
Yep, still
Jeff,
plying
you
his trade on the Pro
require 20.
Tour since that inaugural Super Series season. There are many highlights, but always getting new faces here, and Jeff Smith is
Game
one of
shot
them.
on a third leg. Jeff Smith.
But it is the same old Jeff Smith that we have come to expect on any darting stage, and he's played on most
Fourth
of them.
leg. It's David to throw first. Game on.
Had success in both codes, the BDO and on the PDC, where he was a tour
60.
card holder for quite some time. Mentioned that runner-up at the Lakeside in 2016, the BDO World Championship. He also reached the semi-finals of the World Darts Trophy.
140.
Event that no longer is with us. It was launched in Blackpool, wasn't it? I think it was at Blackpool Tower, I believe, the first launch of that. Best run at the World Masters, the
140.
last 16. Very, very tough event. That would have been in the days when it was in the old format. Best of 3 per set.
100.
Well, Jeff and David, the two men on your stage
100.
right now, won the World Cup pairs together in Romania a few years back. Averaged way over 100 in the final against England, and it was one of the best pairs finals performances
41.
in the event's history. So have not just enjoyed individual success, but have enjoyed success together.
100. $140. David, you require 101.
Clipping along at a nice pace. It could be a level game.
Game shot on a fourth
It
leg.
is a beautiful
David Cameron.
101 finish from David Cameron, just reminding Jeff Smith what he's up against.
I am
Fifth leg,
loving
it's
this
Jeff to
game
throw
of darts.
first. Game on.
This should go on for longer than usual. Can we change the format?
100.
Never mind best of 7. Let's make this one best of 17.
I don't think the players on
108
stage would agree with that. Going through the ringer here, both hitting each other with their full toolbox of weaponry.
60.
Oh, look at those numbers. Power scoring, visit after visit.
100.
Everything's in 3 figures, basically. And it amounts to averages of over 98 for the pair of them.
I think we've got that comfort factor
140.
here as well. You say 2 players that have played pairs together, 2 players that know each other so well, and they're both producing the goods, both averaging over 100. This is a great way to
85.
kickstart our Group B.
$57.
Well, they're bringing the best out in
David,
each
you
other.
require
No doubt about that.
136. $60.
Well, no,
Jeff, you
144
require
has been a
144.
significant number tonight in darts played elsewhere. Can Jeff Smith show how it's done?
96. David, you require 76. Game shot on the 5th leg. David Cameron.
Nicks the leg, 15 darter to break, and he's ahead.
6th leg. It's David to throw first. Game on.
Jeff Smith, who's just dropped off the PDC Pro Tour on the end of the last season, losing his tour card.
100.
Probably thought life might get a little bit easier for him in other worlds. Well, we just saw that he's running around the 100 average for this game. And he's now losing.
57.
Did see a slightly unorthodox 144 attempt in that previous leg as well. He is a double 18 fiend, Jeff Smith. He will do anything
60.
to leave that double 18 target.
$96. $100.
Well, you hope to get a dart any double in this leg because Cameron is starting to race away.
60.
Works in the car restoration game over in Canada, Jeff Smith, and he had a real personal difficulty
100.
when that business actually burnt down in 2019. Had to battle back from that.
57. David, you require 141.
Going to be some going to battle back in this one because David Cameron's 6 darts now at the 141. He's making
59.
0 mistakes so far. He'll probably be thinking, why couldn't I have done this on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to cruise through Group 8?
99. David, you require 82.
So this to win the opening match.
$42.
Cameron almost does it. Well, this
Jeff, you
would be
require
some skin
132.
saver.
This is what Jeff Smith does. Finishers like this. When you think he's out of something, he can pull these out of the bag.
92. David, you require 40.
Well, a really enjoyable game of darts to kick off the Group B proceedings. And it may
20.
continue.
Jeff, you require 40.
First slip, first mistake of the game goes the way of David Cameron. He did the hard work to get in front.
Game shot on the 6th
He's now got
leg.
that tough
Jeff
task
Smith.
of getting that breaker throw once again against Jeff Smith.
4 match darts to
7
win
from
it
final leg. It's Jeff to
for
throw
David
first.
Cameron.
Game on.
Could not get exit done. And now he shakes his head at the back of the stage.
47.
Sure, these are two players that will be
98.
heading to those qualifiers. 4 positions available in New York. Opportunity to
60.
take on the world's best once again on the big stage.
$60.
For an edgy start to this one. They've gone at it at full speed for 6 legs. But Jeff Smith coming out, the brighter.
138.
Makes the first move.
Yeah, he's had to ride his luck a little with those
40.
4 squandered shots from Cameron in the previous leg, but now Smith is homing in on a debut win.
100.
This is a leg Jeff Smith probably didn't expect to happen when David Cameron came to the board with 3 darts in hand. He'll know that David Cameron is very hot on that target.
137. Jeffy require
And he'd have thought it was
156.
game done. And again, he looks over to the scoreboard and will be very happy to see David Cameron on a no finish there with the 166.
Yeah, it's that 303 where we
96.
should have started on the 19s rather than switch there at the end.
100. Jeffy requires 60.
Oh, clattered into the dart.
50.
And now he's missed a couple for the
David
match.
requires 66.
Not as easy as you may think, 66. It's only going to be the 1 dart. It's going to be at a target he's already missed.
26.
5 times.
Jeffy require 10.
David Cameron gives a gift to his Canadian
Game shot,
counterpart.
and the match,
And Jeff Smith accepts it gratefully and wins gracefully. And in the end, the averages may have dipped to just around the 90 mark, but that's how good the game was, that they dipped to that level. 4 out of 10 on the doubles for Smith. David Cameron missed 5 darts at double, all of them for the match. He goes down 4-3 in the opening game of Group B. Coming up next, Andy Hamilton meets John Michael. Well, if game 1 is anything to go by, then this could be a very decent darting night. Jeff Smith and David Cameron producing the goods. Andy Hamilton and the Deadly Rose John Michael looking to follow suit. It was a 4-3 win for Smith in the opener. Hamilton returning to the Super Series for the umpteenth time after some success in the seniors in reaching the Champion of Champions, which is going to take place in Blackpool next weekend. As for John Michael, he had the opportunity. He had Group A firmly in his hands. He might be a little bit annoyed to even be here on this Thursday night, flinging his arrows, but he can fling them pretty well. And we do have what the odds compilers regarded as the 2 outsiders, rather curiously. The Hammer, of course, reached the big money match in PDC Darts, a World Championship final 12 years ago now, and he takes on the greatest Greek ever to chuck an arrow, John Michael, 49 years of age, from Athens, looking
First leg, it's
to get
Andy
a win
to throw
under his
first.
belt in the first game.
Game on.
He's looking well, isn't he, Andy Hamilton? Last time I saw him, I thought, well, he's lost a bit of timber, he's looking well, and this time it's even more to
82.
the extreme. Very slim line these days.
Yeah, it'll certainly be the kind of move that will
40.
prolong the career for a man now playing seniors darts. He was playing serious darts, wasn't he, a decade ago, Andy Hamilton, in the latter stages of every big PDC tournament.
96.
With some games that will live in the memories forever of people. Remember that World Match Play
59.
game with Simon Whitlock? Gets brought up every single year.
$180.
Just like Jeff Smith in the opening game, Andy Hamilton fills it up in the opening leg.
140. Andy, you require 143.
I mean, this is great timing, really, for Andy Hamilton to be here, knowing that he's going to be in Blackpool in a week's time, taking on that Champion of Champions event.
87.
But he was also responsible, wasn't he, for ending the reigning champions' unbeaten run at the World
140.
Seniors Championship. It was
Andy, you
Hamilton who
require 56.
beat Robert Thornton in the last 16.
Game shot on the first leg. Andy Hamilton.
Well, that's a fantastic start there for the Hammer. 14 darter.
Second
Give
leg.
John
it's
Michael
John
plenty to
throw first.
contemplate.
Game on.
And it will be interesting to how John Michael assesses being here in Group B, because he did miss out very, very narrow
100.
margins of even having to play this group. Bradley roasts the winner in the end of the Group A campaign,
58.
but John Michael at one point and towards the very end of that campaign did take a 4-point lead.
55.
I am a sucker for good-looking darts, and those ones that Andy Hamilton's throwing are very attractive to me.
He's not going to give you a set, Chris.
Well, I've tried it with Jim McEwen, haven't I, all week, and he's not taken the bait at all.
62.
So maybe Andy will be a little bit kinder.
If that's the case, I won't mind having a
140.
throw with John Michael's flights, because they are different and they are unusual.
Well, I want his shoes, remember? I've already got dibs on John Michael's shoes.
Well, if Jack Garwood wants his shirt, that's it. We've completely
43.
stripped him down. We took everything off him.
$140.
Well, Michael leaves himself on 66. Hamilton needs the lot here, but he's not going to get it.
81. John, you require 66.
Double 18.
48.
There's a bit of a resemblance between John Michael and Jack Garwood, isn't there? A referee and the Greek darter.
Got a thing for the lookalikes this week, haven't you?
Yeah, that has been a little bit of a theme, hasn't it? In fact.
John, you require 18.
No, I'm not going to go there, actually. Would have been a little bit rude. I'll leave it.
Game shot on the second
I'll
leg.
just say I was
John
thinking
Michael.
about a certain act on Britain's Got Talent once upon a time. One apiece.
Third leg, it's Andy to throw first. Game on.
Well, while we're on the theme of lookalikes, remember when Andy Hamilton first burst on the scene? Everyone used to say he looked like Henry VIII.
$100. $95.
Yeah, that did go round, didn't it? It was around that time it was in the World Final.
$180.
And there were actually rumours that Henry VIII played darts.
Did he have a
100.
time machine by any chance?
No, people think that Henry VIII invented darts. Are you suggesting it's him? It's Henry VIII reincarnate. Yeah, it's believed that Anne Boleyn
101.
made a present of a set of highly decorated darts that she gave to Henry VIII. He wasn't very grateful. He still cut her head off.
41. Andy, you require 120.
I didn't think we'd be talking about that tonight.
$41. $180.
Right, back to the darts, eh?
Andy requires 79.
John Michael with a maximum.
$39.
A wild
John,
dart
you
from Andy
require
Hamilton.
85.
John Michael in range, in punishing range. It's double five.
Game shot on the third leg. John Michael.
Andy Hamilton stood at the back of the stage with his head down, didn't want to look. He was just hoping he didn't hear that game shot
Fourth
call.
leg. It's John to throw first. Game on.
I'll tell you something as well. These are two very nice gentlemen, but they can both turn into real monsters on the hockey.
60.
If there was going to be a little bit of needle in any match, I would pick this one all week. Maybe not this point tonight, but when they play tomorrow, that could be a decisive contest, and that could raise the stakes, raise the pressure. Both
51.
real competitors. We have seen John Michael turn a little bit, haven't we, at times this
60.
week, where he's just gone from this sort of jovial self to full focus.
$96.
Oh, that's a perfect dart, that, for John Michael. He'll be expecting at least a 140.
100.
That'll be disappointing for him. He'll not be happy with that. That is the ideal dart, lying flat on the bottom wire, just to build and stack on top.
58. $140.
Nonchalant lob of John Michael, amounting to a 140.
$93. John, you require 141. $53.
Big visit this for Hamilton, and it's a wild start.
45.
That point of the game here where
John,
it
you
could run away
require
from him.
88.
John Michael, 88 points away from being a leg away.
Well, it's a wayward one from Michael that gives Hamilton a chance to go to the well and see
46.
if he can strike.
Andy, you require 158.
Well, Michael's miscounted as well. And Hamilton might be about to roar. Listen for the roar.
Game shot on the 4th leg. Andy Hamilton.
Oh, there we go. The appreciate. I told you he was a very
5th
nice
leg,
gentleman,
it's
didn't
Andy
I?
to throw first.
John Michael
Game
appreciating
on.
the brilliance of his opponent there, even though it was a bit of a sucker punch for him. He's sitting on 42. And Andy Hamilton weighs in with a massive 158.
Perfect timing as well. He was in big trouble there. Andy
134.
Hamilton needed to dig something out, and he digs out something very, very big.
100.
Good evening to everyone joining us on YouTube. We can see you tonight. A couple of
139.
comments in there about people I'd like to see here. Ethan wants to see the Demolition Man back. Peter wants the Muffin Man. If you're unfamiliar with those,
76.
that is Darren Webster, who was here not too long ago and made headlines. Muffin Man Steve Hine, who got himself through to the Saturday night.
100.
Can you think of any other the something mans?
140.
The Mirror Man, Simon Stevenson.
Andy, you
Yeah.
require 128.
Fitted mirrors on luxury yachts. Raymond van Barneveld was once just the man before he adopted the Barney mantle.
96.
Peter Man Lee.
That is now a stretch.
85. Andy, you require 32. Game shot on the 5th leg. Andy Hamilton.
So Andy Hamilton now leads this match. That's a 13 dart leg. He's really upped his game.
6th
And that
leg, it's John to
158
throw
finish has
first.
changed everything. But
Game on.
actually, in the game, Andy Hamilton's finishing has been perfect.
Dieter Head Man.
137.
Leave it. Yeah, 3 from 3 for Hamilton, including that 158. And he's taken his average up to 92.32.
59.
There you see it again. The standard is really, really high.
100.
Tommy Morris, the only player that hasn't played yet, he'll have looked at these first 2 matches and thought, right, I'm going to have to be on it tonight.
He knew that anyway. I had a good chat with him
57.
earlier on. Spent a good sort of 10-15 minutes with him, and he was very well aware of the challenge of this group. Knew he had to be on it, but was really looking
100.
forward to the challenge as well. He's one of those people that wants to go into a room, find the best player and take him on. So he's going to really relish this.
Yeah, I love watching Tommy Morris. If you haven't seen him before, he is an explosive,
78.
animated
John, you require
type of player.
164.
And he'll be in action next against Jeff Smith, who won his first match, his debut match at the Super Series, 4-3 against David Cameron.
140.
This one looking likely to be the same scoreline, with Michael leaving double 12 after 12.
140. John, you require 24.
Well, he's
Andy,
already
you require 167.
hitting with a hammer blow already in this game. Andy Hamilton yet to miss a dart at a double. But he needs 2 trebles in order to get an opportunity, and he won't find them. But this can get a little bit messy here for John Michael.
77. John, you require 6.
Yep, so now has to find double one. Oh, he
No
wasn't
score.
far away, but he knows that Andy Hamilton is
require
liable
90.
to clean this up. Remember, hasn't missed a dart double in the game. Well, he still hasn't missed one.
75.
And he would have got the ball
John, you require 6.
had he required it. That's what he was hoping for.
Four. Andy, you require 15.
Well, Andy Hamilton could stumble over the line and steal this one here. He didn't expect him to go to a last leg. Instead, he goes for double 6.
Game shot and the match.
And Andy Hamilton does complete that perfect display of finishing. Really good performance. John Michael can only admire it. The 158 changed everything from the hammer, who offers a pat on the back to his opponent, but he should give himself one because he's had a 100% checkout success rate there. 4 from 4. A couple of maximums in there as well, and that's an encouraging start for Andy Hamilton, who sees off John Michael 4-2. Coming next, Jeff Smith returns looking to double his win tally for the night as Tommy Morris is out for the first time. Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, or welcome if you are just joining us. Tommy Morris is just joining us. Having a little chin wag with the referee, Jack Garwood. And he's going to take on Jeff Smith, who won his opening match 4-3, a debut match for Smith. He beat David Cameron in a last leg decider. Since then, Andy Hamilton has got the better of John Michael after hitting 4 doubles from as many attempts, including a 158 checkout. And Morris, the 31-year-old pool player, but chucking his darts this evening. He faces Jeff Smith who, of course, reached the final of the Lakeside World Championship back in 2016.
$48. $97.
I think this is going to be
24.
a really enjoyable game for those that like quick fire quality darts. I do like a game that goes at a bit of pace. It's one that's so easy on the eye. Get that
100.
impression from these two. Tommy Morris, one of the quickest players here at the Super Series.
140.
It's actually someone that Scott Mitchell speaks very highly of, coming from the same sort of area. Be very familiar with each other's games.
83.
Be good pals as well. Play a lot of darts around that area,
42.
this area really. Does have a couple of elements to his game, Tommy Morris. He's quick, rapid in the scoring phase, but he will do doubles in
60.
finishes in a couple of parts.
$74. Jeff, you require 161. $46.
Met Tommy Morris for the first time tonight. One thing that was
95.
very evident from
Jeff, you
that
require 115.
interaction was he's very passionate about the game. Loves his darts. We might not like Jeff's darts here,
Shot on
though.
the first leg, Jeff Smith.
Who kicks off a game once again with a big hit.
Second leg, it's Jeff to throw first. Game on.
On that beloved double 18 again, completing the 115 combo.
93.
He's one of the rare players that actually have something on their throwing arm as well, Tommy Morris. You'll see on the wrist there
99.
a sweatband, which he just used at the back of the stage to mop his brow at the end of that opening leg. A lot of the time if people do this, they tend to put it on like the left hand. If they wear a
58.
watch, they tend to wear it on their left hand. They don't tend to like anything on the right. I mean, it's not something that's going to move around too much,
60.
but it may just restrict a little bit of movement. I'm someone who's sort of experimented at playing with wrist supports, and it does change how the
100.
throw and the release feel. Sure, it's something he's had for a long time and got used to, but
85.
it's a little bit out of the ordinary.
Well,
that will make him sweat. 180 from Smith to get himself down to a nice neat 2-darter.
80. Jeff, you require 70. $54. $99. Jeff, you require 16. Game shot on the second leg, Jeff Smith.
This is exactly what I expected from Jeff Smith. Just setting up tent in that
Third
sixth
leg,
visit
it's Tommy
bracket,
to throw first. Game on.
being extremely hard to beat, but still with that quality of being
43.
able to go out in a 13 darter like he did in leg one. That leg one of the night, not this encounter.
140.
It's really putting pressure on throw by throw. Tommy Morris already shaking his head. He
97.
doesn't know if he's got an answer for this right now.
He did seem very full of confidence earlier on this evening. Saying how he's been
60.
playing well. He's been playing a lot of darts over in Southampton in the Southampton series. He was naming some of the players that go to that, and
121.
it was sort of like a Super Series sort of lineup, but with Simon Whitlock included as well.
60.
You ever been over yourself?
60.
I haven't, to be honest. No. You've been there, haven't you?
Yeah, I've picked up points there before. They have a rule where if you lose to the eventual champion, you actually get
55.
points. It was Mike Gillett that I ended up playing.
140.
Don't think I need to ask who won that game.
No, but I did have about 6 starts at double in the first leg. He was horrific in the first leg.
95.
And he said it was
Tommy, you
through
require 40.
nerves of having an embarrassing defeat. Then he settled down a bit and went on to win the entire tournament. And he's been a weekly winner here.
20.
Tommy Morris would love to add his name
Jeff,
to
you
that roll
require
of honour, wouldn't he?
91.
But Jeff Smith's making it hard for him. 16s. Now, how much of this can he see? About half the eye of the
Game
ball,
shot on the third
but he
leg,
finds
Jeff
it.
Smith.
What a dart that is, and what a night he's having.
Fourth leg, it's Jeff to throw
You becoming
first.
a
Game on.
believer to that prediction I made by any chance yet, Chris?
Well, I mean, the full series is a bold call, but he's done everything to highlight his credentials.
60. $38.
I mean, I will be here on Champions Week, so are we going as far as saying if I predicted that right, you'll hand me a chocolate bar?
108.
With pleasure.
The share size one, not just like a
Fun size.
81.
in the shape of a frog by any chance.
No, they're a bit too expensive these days. Just one celebration is what you'll get.
97.
And it'll be a bounty.
99. Jeff, you require 164.
Well, this might not have long left. Someone did ask for the Demolition Man earlier. This could be a demolition job by
44.
a player who has actually worked for the Demolition Man. Darren Webster got Jeff Smith mixing his cement for him.
Jeff, you require 120.
Another one, another big one. Oh, come on, Jeff.
100.
Couldn't quite
Tommy, you
manage it
require
on this occasion, but it's
143.
another decent darting display.
97.
Tommy Morris has been caught
Jeff, you
cold.
require 20. Game shot and the match. Jeff Smith.
Jeff Smith takes full advantage. A great display from the silencer, who leaves Tommy Morris wondering what's hit him. A 4-0 victory for Smith to double his points tally, and life at the Super Series is running very smoothly so far for Smith. 2 wins from 2 matches, and that one without losing a leg. Next up, Andy Hamilton is looking to join Jeff Smith on 4 points when he takes on David Cameron. And so an enjoyable evening of arrows continues with Andy Hamilton taking on David Cameron. Both performed well in their opening matches, but 1 won and 1 lost. Hamilton beat John Michael 4-2. David Cameron squandered 5 match starts against Jeff Smith and was duly punished. Smith going on to win 4-0 against Tommy Morris in Game 3 of tonight's 10. But the fourth fixture is a meeting between Excalibur and the Hammer.
Andy Hamilton's so solid in
First
that
leg, it's
opening
David
game.
to throw first. Game on.
4-2 victory over John Michael. When John Michael was looking like he's about to take a 3-1 lead, Andy Hamilton popped out the biggest finish of the night so far, the 158, and just completely turned everything
39.
around.
Congratulations to Luke Humphreys on winning tonight's Premier League action from Nottingham.
100.
The sharpest shooter near Sherwood Forest. Who will be the premier player in Pompey this week?
60.
So far tonight it's been Jeff Smith, a man that Matthew Edgar thinks may not only win this week but may win the entire series. I'm actually full of admiration for you for making that call. I think that's the biggest
77.
call a pundit's ever made here at the Super Series.
I just think he's got everything that you need to be a champion here.
100.
Stands out for me. Just got that touch of quality.
Do let us know who you think will win the series. Our social media team will be doing some player
123.
announcements soon of new faces to come. There are plenty of well-known names coming back as well. But yeah, get involved at MSS Darts. Or drop a
43.
message in the live chat on YouTube.
$60. $99. Andy, you require 141. $81. David, you require 160.
Another. Yes, very nice. Tops.
140.
Could not quite
Andy, you
conquer
require 60.
the big checkout. Andy Hamilton, he may even go below the treble 20 here. Well, he does, but he misses the entire target. Such an interesting
shot on the
play
first
that from
leg,
Andy
Andy
Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Really one worth discussing. He ends up winning the leg after using
Second
2
leg, it's
darts to
Andy
get to
to
the
throw
double. But we
first.
have seen various
on.
things happen for players to not block double top on 60. Luke Littler when he was here, Owen Bates, other players, they'll throw the flatty. Andy Hamilton going for the skinny single 20 segment. That is
140.
fraught with danger, really, isn't it?
Case in point, the throw that's just happened as well. Ended up throwing that one low.
100.
But it's a strategy he's got. It's a strategy he sticks to, and he does it every single time. But just looking ahead to Andy Hamilton making a return to Blackpool, the place he used to
47.
go to every summer for the PDC World Match Play. He'll be heading there for the World Seniors Champion of Champions 8-player event. The draw as follows. Top half,
83.
Leonard Gates, Richie Howson. Phil Taylor, Martin Adams. Bottom half, this is where Andy Hamilton is. Robert Thornton, the 2-time Seniors World Champion, takes on Richard Erring Rowlands. And Andy Hamilton will take on the now Seniors World
97.
Champion, John Henderson. So he might have to go through the current champion and the previous champion in order to get to the final, where he may take on the defending champion.
Yeah, and
60.
it's actually a repeat meet, isn't it? It was John Henderson that Hamilton lost to at the Circus Tavern. Interestingly, he's now actually playing the only other player to have won a World Series title on the stage in front of your eyes right now. David Cameron, John Henderson, Robert Thornton and Leonard Gates, the players to have tasted success on the seniors circuit.
99. Andy, you require 83. $43.
That's another name I'd like to see win a week here and get to a Champions Week. Leonard Gates, always a great watch. Almost produced the first finals night 9 data. That is something we're still
94.
waiting to see happen.
Andy, you require 40. $30.
First slip of the
David, you
night there
require
for Andy
65.
Hamilton. Against a player like David Cameron, you could be punished. Or it might only be a dart at the ball now. Pretty much the same place.
17. Andy, you require
A
10.
reprieve for Andy Hamilton.
Well, David Cameron missed 5 darts to beat Jeff Smith in his opening match. It could go horribly wrong from that point, as Hamilton looks to double his lead on double 1.
No score.
Can
David, you
Cameron
require
cash
48.
in this time?
Game shot on the second leg. David Cameron.
He can. Andy Hamilton just adjusting the spectacles in the background there.
Third leg. It's David to throw first.
Well, we talk
Game
about
on.
the seniors tour, and actually coming up in our next game, Tommy Morris takes on John Michael. John Michael, a player who's probably feeling a little bit unfortunate, shall we say,
139.
because had he actually been a week earlier, he might have had the opportunity to have gone to those qualifiers which Andy Hamilton won, because
96.
John Michael is about to turn 50 years old. He does that on the 20th of March. That would have been the perfect week for him, wouldn't it? He could have come here to the Super Series on the back of a weekend at the
58.
seniors.
Ah, this is nice.
135.
It's not a disaster for Andy Hamilton. A 1 treble visit will leave him on a finish when he comes back. Cameron needs 2 in this visit to get to 1 himself.
96.
But he can't get them.
$100. $121.
We've yet to see the
Andy,
biggie
you
go
require
this week.
170.
We've seen plenty of big ones, but not the biggest one of them all.
$82. David, you require 87.
Double 5 is the target here
Game
for
shot on
David
the
Cameron.
third
It's a
leg,
target he's
David
located
Cameron.
for a 15 dart hold of throw and to get ahead of
Fourth
Hamilton.
leg. It's Andy to throw first. Game on. $93. $140. 134. 60. 77.
They're evenly matched in this one, not much between them. Totally different kind of rhythm to the game we saw just before between Morris and Smith.
99.
It even feels like they may be slowing each other down a little bit. They've got caught in this sort of pedestrian playing pace. Hamilton did seem to be a little snappier
51.
in that win over John Michael.
Well, it's certainly made David Cameron a lot more methodical as well, hasn't it? The slower pace of this game compared to the one he had on Jeff Smith.
140. Andy, you
But
require
that action of Andy
146.
Hamilton just never seems to have changed over the years. A lot of throws have little evolutions, tweaks and evolve, but Andy Hamilton, just that same rhythm, same pace.
56.
You will just lob
David, you
one, won't
require
he? It's like last
62.
start sometimes if the visit hasn't gone to plan. Will this go to plan for Cameron?
30.
Not quite, so Hamilton gets
Andy,
to go
you
at
require
90.
90.
Did have this shot earlier, never got a dart at the bull when he played John Michael. Won't have a dart at the bull here either, it'll be double 15 instead.
75.
Big
David, you
opportunity now
require
for David
32.
Cameron. This is a break chance. 3 darts. Double 16.
Awkward.
No score.
Very, very awkward.
Andy, you
and it
require
proved to be the
15.
case. Now Hamilton has a choice to make. Could be 3-6, maybe 7-4. What do you fancy?
Well, last time it was 3-6. He used this to win the match.
Three.
Well, one on the floor and one outside
David,
the
you
double.
require
Cameron gets
32.
another opportunity. Hamilton's doubling has been troubling in this game.
Game shot on the 4th flag. David Cameron.
David Cameron. He wins it
5th flag. It's David to throw first.
or leads it 3-1. But
Game
yeah,
on.
Andy Hamilton, who was 4 out of 4 in the first match that he played, he's only 1 out of 10 in this match. 9 darts missed at double for a man who didn't miss a single
97.
dart at double in his last game.
And I can tell you as a player, that's where it gets really frustrating because you're aware of things like that. You think, how can I go from being perfect to... I can't even think of a word for not so
77.
perfect, so we'll just go with not so perfect.
Yeah, it's a sorry tale for Andy Hamilton, a complete reversal of how good he was on
60.
the outer ring against John Michael. David Cameron's on a strike rate of 1 in 3, 3 hits from 9 attempts.
$60. $81. $90.
If those missed doubles wasn't frustrating, that one will be. 2 darts just in the corner of the treble 5.
99.
Michael Morris next up.
$80. David, you require 164.
Well, just be hoping for a ton here. That would have been
52.
the thought pattern before coming to the hockey, knowing that he had a bit of time on his hands. But this could end up getting a little bit tricky for him.
$134. David, you require 112.
Well, he can still do it. He can do it on the ball.
80.
We're going to
Andy,
see that
you require
Hamilton
60.
move again here. The small 20. Well, the small 1. Well, it worked for him last time. He went the other way.
40.
But this time it's another missed
David, you
dart double
require
for Andy
32.
Hamilton. He's now missed 10.
$24.
He's going to get more goals here, Andy
Andy, you
Hamilton. He
require
needs to put this
20.
right and fast.
$10. David, you
Well,
require
I can't
8.
quite believe this. 4 out of 4 in his first match. Cannot labour that point
Game
enough.
shot and the match.
And he misses
David
an unlucky
Cameron.
13 against David Cameron, who takes full advantage. A 4-1 success for the Canadian to just capitalise on all those missed darts at double. In the end, he ended up missing 10 himself, did David Cameron. But he was more than good enough to get rid of Andy Hamilton in that game. He gets off the mark, joins Andy on 2 points. John Michael and Tommy Morris have no points, but that will change in the next game. Well, thank you for rejoining us here at the Modus Super Series for this Michael Morris meeting. as John Michael takes on Tommy Morris in Game 5 of tonight's 10 Tungsten Tussles. Both players lost their opening encounter, with Michael going down 4-2 to Andy Hamilton and Tommy Morris failing to win a leg against Jeff Smith, who's won both of his games so far. He will meet Hamilton in the one after this. But this will zip along very, very nicely, I'm sure of that. Two pacey players ready to stomp around the Super Series stage.
55.
Said it to a few games so far this evening. I'll say it again that this one's going to clip along at a lovely, easy on the eye pace. I think that's going to be most
22.
games that involve Tommy Morris, to be fair. So he has had success here before.
119.
Finals night. Semi-finalist, in fact, here at the Super Series.
140.
Yeah, I think he's got a determination now to go one better. He actually only appeared here as a late replacement for a player that withdrew.
95.
And he impressed on that day, and then he got another couple of days, and then made it through to finals night and keeps getting re-invited. He took his opportunity, basically, and put his name in the hat to keep appearing here.
90. 180.
Already
Johnny
looking a lot more settled in this
142.
one than he did in his opening game, but this could unsettle him.
102. Tommy
His opening
required
game was a
38.
4-0 defeat to Jeff Smith.
Game shot on a first
He's already gone
leg,
one
Tommy
better than that,
Morris.
and he won't be nilled again. Takes the opening leg with a breaker throw.
Second leg, it's Tommy to throw
The
first.
180, really.
Game on.
He was so quick there. He was throwing before the referee had told him he was throwing. He just had to
99.
check himself, reel himself back in.
97. 108.
Just love watching fast players when they're playing like this. It's just so easy on the eye.
180.
Well, this is non-stop brilliance from the pair of them. It looks like Morris has
52.
kind of lifted Michael here.
We've had 11 180s already tonight.
42. Tommy, you require
This is
170.
only game number 5.
A great little position on the camera there showed that
83.
Tommy Morris was just there, his arm in the air, ready to throw, before John Michael was even halfway down the hockey. I'm not saying halfway back down the hockey, halfway to retrieving his darts.
140. Tommy, you require 87.
Everything he does is fast,
47.
but sometimes
Johnny
less
require
haste is
42.
required. And that might have been an example of it. Well, this is unorthodox, unintentional. And Tommy
34.
Morris gets
Tommy,
an
you
unexpected
require 40.
opportunity.
Game shot on a second leg. Tommy Morris.
I don't think he could have got any closer with dart number 2 without it going in. It goes in with dart number 3 in the end, and a much improved
Third leg,
performance
it's
here
John
from
to throw first.
Tommy Morris.
Game on.
Only got 3 darts at a double in the entirety of the opening game, the 4-0 defeat to Jeff Smith.
140.
John Michael averaging just shy of 100 here. And he's 2-0 down.
140. 40. 85.
Sometimes when you play someone as quick as Tommy Morris, you can feel like you get caught in a whirlwind and that you're just
95.
always at the hockey as if there is no opponent. And I think that John Michael's just becoming aware of that because he's really just easing down the pace of his
82.
walk now. We've seen him literally racing around the stage at times, but feels like he's just trying to suck a little bit of the pace out of this game right now.
56. $100. John, you require 170.
Well, this would be a spectacular way to get himself into this game.
100.
Just stayed there.
Tommy, you require 94.
Playing like a man who couldn't care less, John Michael. But he can get back into the
54.
game now. A real
John, you
opportunity.
require
An
70.
opportunity he'll have to take, though.
38. Tommy, you
And
require
he hasn't
40.
taken it.
For a double breaker throw.
Game shot on the third leg.
This would just
Tommy
be so
Morris.
typical of the sport. John Michael throws his arms out to the side. He can't believe what he's seeing.
Yeah,
Fourth
he
leg,
is
it's Tommy
simmering
to throw
away
first.
here. Maybe
Game
ready
on.
to boil over. John Michael. He's playing all right himself. He's just
83.
not doing it at the right times.
But Tommy Morris lost his opening game 4-0.
140.
And he's in a great position to win one 4-0, which would be great for the legs column, because after you lose 4-0, you're kind of up against it unless you can find one
55.
yourself.
Yeah, an instant repair job here from Tommy Morris.
85.
And John Michael, I mean, it's all gone wrong in his last few matches, hasn't it? If you look at yesterday as well,
140.
he was sitting pretty. 2 games to go. John Michael had it in his hands, and he lost both of those games. It turned out
125.
he only needed to win one of them, and he would have already been through to finals night. And then he's looking like losing
100. John,
both
you
of his
require
first 2 games in Group
151.
B and struggling to make Saturday at all.
86. Tommy, you require
Absolutely, the last one could make things a
123.
bit tricky as well with a 65, but he might not get a go. That leaves the ball.
98.
Good attempt.
John, you require 65.
John Michael needs to convert this, or he will be beaten, surely, without winning a leg.
55.
Yeah, it's just not been his match, has
Tommy,
it?
you require
4 darts missed at
25.
double. And Tommy Morris is looking to redeem that 4-0 defeat by winning 4-0 in his very next match.
Game shot.
That's what he
on the
does.
mat, Tommy Morris.
Sharp shooting from Tommy the Gun, who fires past John Michael, despite the fact that Michael actually had the higher average in that game, 91.14, but 4 missed starts at double for Michael. They proved to be crucial, and Tommy Morris just took full advantage, and he wins. Brilliant after a 4-0 defeat, a 4-0 victory. Coming up next, Jeff Smith, who's looking to carry on a dream debut here at the Super Series. He's up against Andy Hamilton.
Welcome back, Group B, halfway through its opening night, and here's what's happened so far. The results: Jeff Smith beating David Cameron 4-3 in an all-Canadian clash, Andy Hamilton getting the better of John Michael 4-2. Smith then doubling his points tally by beating Tommy Morris 4-0. Cameron got off the mark by seeing off Andy Hamilton 4-1, and Morris amended that leg difference column with a 4-0 victory over John Michael. Matthew, really, really good response from Tommy Morris after a disappointing first match.
The only way he could respond, really, wasn't after a 4-0 defeat, just to brush that aside. Shows the confidence he's got as well. If you're a really confident player like he is, I've chatted with him today and he came in just full of confidence from what he's been doing away from this, and really wanted to show it tonight. So he'd been disappointed with that opening game, but it didn't let it knock him. That is true confidence, not just words.
Speaking of disappointment, John Michael has got to be bitterly disappointed. That's now 4 matches lost on the spin, and he was just a game away from qualifying for finals night yesterday.
I think there's some lag there. You know, you can see it in him. He's sort of moping around the stage. The shoulders are slumped. He's sort of walked off the stage there extremely disappointed. Probably disappointed that he didn't have to walk on it in the first place. And that's just carrying into tonight. And you can see that sort of weight on him as he's playing his games. He's a disappointed man. He's got to snap out of it quick, because the Group B can really run away.
The player of the night, of course, has been Jeff Smith. Suppose no surprise to you based on what you said earlier?
Not at all for me. He's going to be the man this year. And when you look at someone, you think, who's going to sort of take that mantelpiece? Who's going to be the marquee player here? I genuinely believe it's going to be Jeff Smith.
And this start was incredible, wasn't it? Just typical of what he can do.
Oh, fantastic one there, working around the ball. He's got all sorts of aspects to his game. He plays a lot of cricket, one of the best cricket players in the world, which they do predominantly stay on that sort of area quite a lot. So I'm not surprised to see him sort of work on the ball rather than go the new-fashioned way of the treble 17 on that situation. But it's not just that shot. It's been brilliant, it's been consistent, it's been solid. And consistent's probably the word here, because he's the only player so far tonight that's shown that, which is why everyone else is sort of dipping in and out of wins and losses.
Yeah, an example of a sort of player not showing consistency. Andy Hamilton, who was absolutely sublime in terms of his finishing in his opening match. He was 4 out of 4 on the doubles, a fabulous 158 checkout in there as well. But then in the next game, he could not hit a double.
I wouldn't want to see a graph of statistics for tonight for the players, because it'd be so high and so low, and it would just be like the Big Dipper at Blackpool, sort of. It'd be all over the place. And he went from perfect to that, and that will disappoint him, and that'll frustrate him, and he'll be going into the back room. That'll be the conversation he'll have. He'll be aware that he was perfect in the first game. He'll be aware that's a long way off, and then he gets concerned. You think, well, which version of he's going to turn up in match number 3? So you go up there with question marks, and when you go with question marks, you end up looking for answers.
Well, let's look at the table, see how the land lies after everyone has played a quarter of their fixtures, and Jeff Smith top of it, and I know you expect him to stay there. David Cameron does sit in second place, but he is level on points with Morris and Hamilton, and John Michael yet to get off the mark. He's going to have to change that soon.
Absolutely, if not anything, just for himself, because he doesn't look like himself. He doesn't look that jovial John Michael we've seen. He looks like a disappointed, sort of dragging the heels, almost sulky child, for want of a better way of putting it. And he's got to snap out of that quick, because this is a tough group, and these will keep him there, and they'll be happy to leave him on 0 points.
Well, it's time now to announce the groups for next week. Here is the lineup for week 4 here at the Super Series. A return for Neil Duff, who won the double start tournament not long ago. A return for the series champion from the last series, Scott Taylor. In between them, Anthony Allen making a debut. Adam Lipscomb won an ADC qualifier. Nigel Lloyd and Jimi Hendrix coming from ADC Europe. But some interesting names on the right-hand side of the screen there. Not least a debut for Devon Peterson.
Really interesting to see Devon Peterson and see how he handles now losing that tour card. He was a player that was getting in the top 32. He won a European tour. Looked like the world was rosy for him, but just had a very sudden drop-off in form. And it's sort of now a great thing for him to sort of maybe rebuild and refine some form again. Be really excited to see how he gets on in this sort of environment. Yeah,
and I know one of our YouTube watchers wanted a return for the Muffin Man. Well, they got their wish as well. Steve Hines going to be back. But just quickly on Scott Taylor before we return to tonight's action. We saw Jim McEwen maybe struggle with that billing of being the defending champion when he returned. Do you think Scott Taylor is a type of player who that will affect, or do you think he'll just get on and play his darts?
He's a flash player, and he's going to come here and he's going to He's going to want to do it again. He's going to want to be that next Luke Littler who picks up 2 series titles, does it back to back. He's probably going to want a hat trick of them so he can go one better than him and say, actually, forget about Luke Littler, it's about me. And the darts he's shown when he was here last time suggests that he's more than capable of doing so. We know what he's doing. He could potentially come here as a Challenge Tour winner from this weekend.
Yeah, there we go. Well, it's all about getting to Champions Week and indeed before that getting to finals night. That's every Saturday here at the Super Series and we have a live audience which you could be part of.
Every Saturday we open our doors for our weekly finals night.
For a unique and intimate darts experience.
Meet the Dart Stars and even the team off the telly.
Here at our purpose-built venue in Portsmouth.
Every single Saturday evening.
Tickets can be booked via this QR code
or at www.dartshop.tv for a very small booking fee.
Follow us at MSS Darts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and TikTok.
For all the latest ticketing news.
All you need to do, log on, book, turn up and the action gets underway from 7:30 p.m.
So what are you waiting for?
Get your tickets to the darts.
We look forward to welcoming you to the MODUS Super Series very soon.
Yeah, please do join us. Jeff Smith is hoping to join us on Saturday and he's doing a good job in terms of making it to finals night. Andy Hamilton will hope to be there as well and we hope to see you. If not this week, then one week at least. You will not be disappointed. And one thing we didn't discuss, Matt, in our chat there is how good the final nights have been so far in this series.
Oh, they've been fantastic. I've been very fortunate to be here for both of them so far. They've been really, really good standard up on the stage. We've had some great stories. Very interactive crowd. Very respectful crowd as well.
First leg, it's Jeff to throw first. Game on.
Well, Jeff has been unbelievable so far tonight.
140.
Will that continue here? Or can Andy Hamilton manage to spring what now would be looking like a surprise?
$77.
They have met once before at a Players' Championship event in Bolton, start of 2021. And Andy Hamilton lost
100.
that to Jeff Smith. He lost it 6-1.
$180.
Well, there's been plenty of those so far this evening. That the third one for Andy Hamilton. Jeff Smith got 3 himself.
60.
12 so far in total. We've still got half an evening to go.
There's been
95.
plenty of maximums. This afternoon was about big checkouts, wasn't it? Tonight might be about the 180s.
$57. Andy, you require 149. $93. Jeff, you require 144.
One of the key features of Jeff's game is those tumpless finishes. He's only got 1 so far tonight. I expect that he's going to get more this evening and tomorrow.
92. Andy, you require 56.
But what Andy Hamilton are we going to get? Are we going to get the Andy Hamilton of match 1 where he's 100% on the doubles? Or the Andy Hamilton of match 2 where he's 1 from 14?
36. Jeff, you require 52. $43. Andy, you require 20.
Oh, Jeff Smith not able to shut the door in this opening leg and maybe surrendering his throw. Just looking to bounce that in off the barrel. Bounces the wrong side.
Ten.
He's got to take
Jeff, you
those
require
chances.
9.
Certainly against this opponent.
No score.
Or maybe not, as it turns out.
Andy, you require 10. Game shot on the first leg. Andy
This time Hamilton does take the opportunity and breaks a Jeff Smith throw.
Second leg, it's Andy to throw first. Game on. $100.
You talk about the Andy Hamilton throw never really changing or evolving over the years. Jeff Smith's probably the same as well. Not too much change there since when he first burst onto the scene. A lot of people remember that 2016 BDO World Championship run, but he actually was on the Pro Tour a few years before that, around about 2012. Was a very dangerous customer then.
140.
Just plan on doing a lot of the CDC tour this year to try and get himself back to the Alexandra Palace.
Well, he's got a game on his hands here.
108.
No doubt about that.
80.
The 180s keep on flying in. Flying in.
180. $98. Jeff, you require
Well, this is a great
81.
recovery from Jeff Smith, who would have felt like he gave his throw away in the opening leg.
$65. Andy, you require 100.
Well, he's waiting after missing, but Hamilton... Do you know what? I fancy Andy for this. I fancy him.
Game shot on a second
Never in
leg.
doubt.
Andy Hamilton. Third leg, it's Jeff to throw first. Game on.
Well, there's my only prediction of the series coming right. Matthew Edgar's made a big prediction. He thinks Jeff Smith
100.
may be the man to win the series. Not just the week, the entire series.
$58.
But the question is, will he win this match from 2-0 behind?
We know he's got it in him to turn these sort of games around.
93.
He can lead from the front, he can come from behind.
Is it going to be another one?
140.
Not on that occasion. And he'd be well advised to stay away from the treble 20 on his next
42.
visit.
Expect him starting the 19s here. 7 19s would leave him the 170. Or if he fills it.
133.
Well, Smith himself will be taking a trip to treble 19.
58. Andy, you require 170.
But he couldn't leave himself a finish, giving Andy 6 starts from 170. 5 from 169.
77.
Rescues it somewhat, but he could have been rather more handily placed.
92. Andy, you require 93.
Well, I said that
53.
Jeff Smith
Jeff,
likes
you
to sort
require
of gobble these
116.
chances up. In this situation, he's going to need to. His favourite double, double 18.
98.
It was the dart to leave it. Similar to
Andy,
that
you
bullseye we
require
saw
40.
earlier on. A really good dart, but just couldn't land the double. 4 doubles missed now in this match for Jeff Smith. And Andy Hamilton was struggling on doubles himself in the previous game. Is that going to continue?
35.
Looks like it might.
Jeff, you require 18.
2 out of 10 for Andy Hamilton. And Jeff Smith chooses to just give himself 2 darts at double.
14.
It hasn't worked.
Andy, you require 5.
Really misfiring on the doubles, Jeff Smith. 3 double 1, the chosen route of the hammer.
No score.
That's the
Jeff,
danger
you
of going
require
that way.
4.
Literally, leave yourself no wiggle room. It's got to be perfect.
Game
That's
shot on the
perfect
third
for
leg.
Jeff Smith. Is that the let-off that's going to get him going in this game? Because Andy Hamilton will feel he should be 3-0 up and throwing for the match.
Fourth leg. It's Andy to throw first. Game on.
And the scoring's been fine in the game. It's been a doubles disaster, really, for the pair of them.
$96.
Smith can buy himself a few more chances. He will certainly feel like this match is still there for the taking, and that's the way to go about it.
$93.
Four 180s in this game, 2 apiece.
100.
A real good night of maximum hitting. That one from Jeff Smith, a very well timed one. Gives him the opportunity to attack the throw of Andy
55.
Hamilton and try and get himself back to being favourite in this game.
$65.
Well, Andy Hamilton fill it up again.
108.
Well, many 180s tonight, and many
Jeff, you require
180s here at the Modus
156.
Super Series. That was the 15,000th maximum here at the Live Lounge in
100.
Portsmouth.
Andy requires 77.
Will it help Andy Hamilton on his way to winning the leg?
37. Jeff,
Well,
you
not
require
yet. He's going to have to rely on
56.
more missed darts at double from Jeff Smith. He's missing that double quite frequently
47.
tonight.
Andy, you require 40.
This is one of them games where both players are going to come off stage and feel like they should have won.
Yeah, it's a match that has seen the 15,000th 180 and 15,000 missed doubles.
Game shot on
But
the
Hamilton
fourth
hits
leg.
that one.
Andy Hamilton.
And he could be about to inflict the first defeat on Jeff Smith at the Super Series.
Fifth leg. It's Jeff to throw first. Game on. $100. $45. 60. $96. $60.
Sort of running out of opportunities now. Jeff Smith. He's inviting Andy Hamilton in on his throat. Player who is yet to taste defeat at the Super Series. Jeff
100.
Smith may be staring down the barrel.
I might have a bone to pick with our referee Jack Garwood later.
140.
Because Alan Norris was in agony with his back this afternoon and he never picked up his flights when he fell on the floor. Left him to do it himself.
$65. Jeff, you require 141.
Andy Hamilton there must have been trying intentionally
57.
to leave himself on 170 by hitting a bullseye. That's a bizarre thing to do at this stage of the match.
$96. Jeff, you require 84. Game shot on the fifth leg.
Well, Smith
Jeff Smith
closes a gap. And Hamilton was throwing some strange darts towards the end of that leg.
Sixth leg. It's Andy to throw
25
first.
to leave himself on
Game
195. A single 19 to leave himself on 99. And Jeff Smith found double 9 and still the win is in his sights. But he has to break Hamilton here.
57. $100. $96. $140.
Jeff Smith's got a real chance here. An unexpected chance. He went 3-1 down, but I suppose the beauty of that position was he would have had to throw in 2 of the 3 legs. This one, the one where he needs to find the break.
140.
If that is to be the case, you feel these are the 3 darts that could do the damage.
131.
Yeah, damage could be done.
$83. Jeff, you require 130.
Hamilton contributing to his own downfall here, but Jeff Smith is probably just about favourite to win this match.
94.
Because he leaves himself on that
Andy,
favourite double again.
125.
And the only way Andy Hamilton can stop him is by taking out the match-winning checkout himself. Oh, yes. Well, he needed the 25 for another pop at the bull.
Jeff, you require
Instead, now he has to hope
36.
Smith doesn't hit double 8T, which, to be fair, he hasn't been in this match. But he hits it now.
Sixth leg, Jeff Smith.
He squares it up, and he has the darts in the decider.
7th and final leg. It's Jeff to throw first. Game on.
It feels like it's been a real off-par performance here for Jeff Smith, but he's still averaging 88, which is where he's kind of been across his first couple of fixtures.
60.
He's still averaging 88, despite the fact he's missed 10 darts at the double so far.
95.
He has produced some good wins, some decent performances tonight, but he has had to ride his luck at times. Jeff Smith survived 5 match starts against David Cameron. Andy Hamilton had him on the ropes in this one.
140. 57. 96. 52.
Well, having
Andy,
got
you
himself into the
require
position of
170.
throwing for the match, Jeff Smith has surrendered that advantage here to Andy Hamilton.
$98. 140. And he requires 72.
He's had enough just to rattle Hamilton's cage. .48 remaining. So double 16 for the win. Oh,
54.
wrong bed. Jeff Smith gets
Jeff,
a chance.
You require 92.
I expect to see Jeff Smith starting on the ball here. He did this earlier on. Oh, he's changed his plan.
Well, he does love that double 18,
40.
but both those darts were
And you
way off the
require
mark.
18.
And I think he was looking at the ball when he approached the hockey. He changed his mind last minute there. Decided to twist when he should have stuck. And Andy Hamilton cashes in with a pair of twos. The 4-3 success for the Hammer. Jeff Smith beaten for the first time at the Super Series. It was looking like a dream debut, but he's been reeled in by Hamilton, who joined Smith on 4 points after that victory. Again, some double trouble, but he did manage to hit the match-winning one, and Andy Hamilton is the first to beat Jeff Smith. Coming up next then, David Cameron goes head-to-head with John Michael. Well, 3 games left to go. Sorry, 4 games left to go. Getting carried away there. But John Michael and David Cameron each have 2. Michael and Cameron about to clash here. And, well, he's in a little bit of bother, isn't he, if he loses this one, you'd have to say, John Michael. You're never really out of this group after one night, but he's lost his last 4 matches across 2 days. What's he doing here, John Michael?
First leg, it's David to throw first. Game on.
Usually he's the first to offer a fist bump, but he had his hands firmly behind his back. David almost had to force him into it there before this game. But yeah, he needs to change something and change something fast.
43.
Because 4 games ago, he had finals night in his sights, and he's lost every game since that point.
100.
These are players that have clashed a couple of times already this week.
45.
Those games going in the favour of David Cameron by 2-1.
100. 137. 140. 41. John, you require 161.
Well, his week
82.
really kicked off after a big 1-3-5 finish. He's looking at a good solid break here, but David Cameron now
140.
makes it interesting.
John, you require 79.
You have the same problem that Andy Hamilton will in terms of
Shot
trying to
on
stay away
first
from the
leg,
tops,
John
because the dart
Michael.
naturally does that for John Michael, landing flat, leaving him a nice, clear, open target.
Second leg, it's John to throw first. Game on. $45.
I do just get a bit of an aura, a bit of a vibe about this game. There's just something maybe beneath the surface
100.
here.
We have been playing with each other all week, and I haven't noticed any of that
85.
before now. Cameron beat Michael 4-2 in their meeting yesterday. That actually was the start of the decline for John Michael, wasn't it? He went into that match knowing that winning one of his last 2 matches, he would have
100.
qualified for finals night. He lost that game, then he lost another.
41.
And Bradley Roos went on to win the group when they met earlier in the week. Michael beat Cameron 4-3
140.
on Tuesday. And in the very first game this week, Cameron kind of battered John Michael 4-1 on Monday.
108.
Very good timed hit that. Gets him onto
David, you
a
require
finish.
161.
Did you know, Matthew Egger, that's the 15,001st 180 in the
43.
MODUS Super Series.
John, you require 150. 98. David, you
I
require
don't think it's a
118.
format that would catch on, though, that one. 15,001.
Game shot on a second leg. David
Well, that's
Cameron.
wonderful from David Cameron. Well, I think you're right. I think there is
Third
something
leg,
awry
it's David
here
to throw
because
first.
John Michael would usually be offering the fist bump of appreciation there. And he just muttered something under his breath and there was no eye contact between the players.
60.
Plus the fact that John Michael had his hands behind his back at the start and he shaking his head, it was
43.
as if he was planning on refusing the initial embrace. I mean, we could be reading this completely wrong, but there just seems to be a little something in the air.
99.
And I'm not talking about the Darren Webster incident.
100.
Well, keep an eye on it. We do have a good vantage point in the commentary box here. Can see the stage from a sort of bird's eye view.
137. 100. 95.
John Michael's last match is against Jeff Smith, of course, who has just been beaten for the first time. Do you think John has to win at least one match tonight?
134.
He doesn't have to, in the
David,
fact
you
that we have
require
seen people do it,
110.
but I think it would be quite vital to do so. It wouldn't completely eliminate him if he loses all four, but I think with this group of players, you need something
Game
on
shot
the board.
third
But
leg,
David Cameron,
David Cameron.
again with a big finish there. But the eye drawn
Fourth
to
flag, it's John to
John
throw
Michael,
first.
who's the more animated
Game
of the
on.
two right now.
Yeah, Cameron follows at 118 with 110.
60.
Back-to-back clinical kills, and after a couple of matches where we've seen doubles missed aplenty, we haven't seen one missed yet in this game.
81. 55. 45. 100. 139. 45.
Well, that could be a key moment in this game, especially now that David Cameron is finding the red.
140.
And he's finding the finishes as well. Last couple of legs, 118, 110, 96
100.
should be
David, you
child's
require
play
96.
for David Cameron. Well, he can't do it, but he may not need to.
56.
John Michael's on a
John, you
huge
require
outshot,
141.
and he's not going to take it out.
Remember what we said this afternoon, and in Group A we said
59.
players were taking out these big finishes, but when
David,
they
you
had three
require
darts in their hand,
40.
they tend to struggle.
Will that occur here? No,
Game shot on
no
the
struggle,
fourth
no
leg,
trouble.
David Cameron.
And no double has been missed yet in this match.
Fifth flag, it's David to throw first. Game on.
John Michael has only had one dart double. He hit it. David Cameron has hit all three of his attempts.
134.
Well, what's going on in the mind of Michael now? He's either told himself a joke or that was an ironic laugh.
They probably feel like everyone's hitting everything against him tonight.
100.
His night has not gone to plan. 4-2 defeat to Andy Hamilton, kicking off the night. Then he followed it with a 4-0 defeat
26.
to Tommy Morris. And you'll feel like this game may be slipping away.
140.
Apologising there for that little distraction that he caused for David Cameron.
60. $80. $140.
Still in this leg and still in this match. John Michael.
100. David, you require
That could be a huge last start.
141.
Should get him at least a dart at the ball.
$130. John, you require 81.
Too much for David Cameron.
75.
Not enough for John Michael.
David, you require 11.
This for the match and the second victory of the night for David Cameron.
Oh, why the long pause?
Game shot and the match.
But in the
David
end, he
Cameron.
does get there. John Michael not really happy with his performance, although it wasn't bad. David Cameron just did a lot of good things in that game. 4 out of 5 on the doubles, and the only one he missed didn't matter because he went out in the same visit. So pretty much perfect in that department, including 2 ton plus checkouts, 110 and 118. Nice 91.52 average. And David Cameron, with that win, actually climbs to the top of the table. Looking to remove him next is Andy Hamilton, who takes on Tommy Morris.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where John Michael has just exited the stage. A very disappointed character on the back of his third defeat of the evening. He's only got 3 legs across his opening 3 fixtures. But he could take inspiration perhaps here from Tommy Morris, who didn't get any legs in his opening game. He went down 4-0 before coming back with a 4-0 success of his own, so puts his leg difference back to par. But he's taking on Andy Hamilton here, who 2 wins from his 3, provided a couple of opportunities along the way, and leaves this one finally in the balance. A real opportunity for the Hammer to take over on that top position, as this is his last fixture of the day.
First leg, it's Andy to throw first. Game on.
All players will play 4 matches today, and then they'll come back for 4 more tomorrow. Top 3 players will be going through to Saturday night, where at the moment we only know 1 player for sure who's going to be there, and that is Bradley Roast, the man
58.
who won the Group A campaign. And if you did tune in earlier for Group C, you'll know that even after a day's play, we are none the wiser.
100.
Yeah, some big games still to come. But the man with the biggest problem is John Michael. He's going to be back against Jeff Smith next, and he hasn't picked up any points so far. He looked a bit bewildered during his last match. Tommy Morris with that contrasting evening that was mentioned.
100.
4-0, 4-0, both ways.
$85.
We did, of course, a little earlier tonight announce the lineup for
45.
next week, and it includes the return of the Series 6 champion, Scott Taylor. Can he do the Luke Littler and go back to back?
139.
Here's a question for you. Andy Hamilton, when he's got 60 left, he goes for a
28.
small 20, doesn't he?
And he require 120.
Do you think he'd dare to do that if he's got 60 left after 1 dart here?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely not, just like I said.
Yeah, decided against it, and I think it's wise because he could have easily ended up busting his score with the attraction of a dart already in that target.
81.
Well, it's a shot that he normally persists with that low 20, but it's not worked for him tonight. 2 occasions, he's
40.
drifted to the 5 and the 1.
And he require 39. Game shot on the first leg, Andy Hamilton.
Hamilton gets the first leg in the ledger. Yeah, that lineup in full for next week. We did reveal
Second
it
leg, it's Tommy to
in
throw
our mid-show
first.
chat, but if you missed
Game
it,
on.
Neil Duff returns, the Double Trouble champion. Scott Taylor, the Champions Week champion from just a few weeks ago.
41.
He's back as well. Anthony Allen making a debut in Group A. And then ADC qualifiers from UK and Europe. Adam Lipscomb, Nigel Lloyd and Jimi Hendrix. In Group B, Devon Peterson will be
86.
here for the first time. Chris Quantock, certainly not for the first time, nor Chaz Barstow. And then in Group C, Joe Croft, Steve Hine, the Muffin Man, and the ADC qualifier
100.
is Johnny Stewart.
Think Jimi Hendrix might bring his guitar?
Yeah, I'll be working on some puns for next week.
96. $45.
Can be quite tricky when you're a very rapid player like Tommy Morris
80.
trying to deal with the pace of Andy Hamilton. You see there, he's at the hockey, he wants to throw, he wants to get going, but Andy Hamilton just
60.
fully dictating the pace of the game.
137.
He's been good tonight, Andy Hamilton.
68.
And it could turn into
Andy,
a very
you require
good night for the Hammer. This
102.
is his last game. He'll be on a 3 out of 4 success rate if he wins this one. He went for it.
77. $100. Andy, you require 25.
Well, that means now he's got to burn a dart.
No score.
Wow.
Tommy, you require 87.
Got to burn the throw. Busts it on the opening visit. Chance for Tommy Morris to really inflict some pain here on the Hammer. Bullseye for a hammer blow.
62.
That was a good attempt.
Andy, you require 25.
Now, does Andy Hamilton persevere with that route, or does he play something safer? Perseveres and does what he should have done last time. 8 to complete the recovery.
Game shot
Nicely done by Andy Hamilton, who shows some guts there.
Third leg, it's Andy to throw first. Game on.
Once saw Robert Thornton on the Pro Tour, he'll go 17-4 on that route. I once saw him bust by hitting a 51, and then came back to the board, bust by hitting the 34.
96. $100.
Andy Hamilton bouncing back from that mishap and doubling his lead in this match. And Tommy Morris, we remind you, every single game he's played in has had a 4-0 scoreline, so it doesn't bode well for him in this one.
$139.
I'll be following on social media. Our team on X have just put out a new little game for us to play, Matthew, if you're interested. Last game was David Cameron versus John Michael. Two guys who have 2 first names to make up their full name. But how many other dart players can you name that also
98.
have this?
Dart players that have
Sort of 2 first names for their name. Oh, there's one sat next to me right now.
76. Andy, you require 167.
Ryan Joyce.
95.
Adrian Lewis, another. Robert Owen.
39. Andy, you require 72.
Mario van den Behada. No, that's a joke, that one. I'm sure you can call... You can call your kid Hamilton, can't you?
52.
Tommy Morris is definitely one.
Tommy, you require 147.
Get involved in that little game if you
59.
want to get involved on social
Andy, you
media.
require 20.
I mean, anything could be a first name, really, couldn't it? These days.
Yeah, gone are the days of Dave.
Game shot on the third leg. Andy Hamilton.
Tommy now in trouble. They're going back to the Tommy Morris of game
Fourth
1 where
leg, it's Tommy to
the
throw
4-0
first.
was against him.
Game on.
Andy Hamilton could end the night quite successfully here.
60.
Back-to-back victories, leaving on 6 points. He'll be delighted with that.
Phil Taylor.
100.
Sorry, I'm just doing that now. This is going to be 4-0, isn't it? That's what happens when Tommy Morris is on the hockey, either his way or their way.
85.
But I've got quite an inventive one, and I'll leave it there. How about Lisa Ashton?
45. 100. 86. 140.
Some people are getting involved in the YouTube chat. Many that are very much part of the Super Series. We've got Chris Mason, of course. Scott Mitchell.
85. Tommy, you require 116.
Tommy Morris's good pal, Scott Mitchell. And is Tommy Morris going to avoid the whitewash this time?
80. 26. Tommy requires.
Now that is a
26.
slip from the hammer. From 185, he's left himself on a bogey number.
18.
And now it'll bug him. Now it's going to frustrate and hurt because seeing his opponent miss and knowing they're coming back on 99, there's nothing you can do. Just hit and hope. Well, he's done the hit part.
126. Check 123. Tommy require 18. Game shot on the 4 flag. Tommy Morris.
Well, a shake of the head from Tommy Morris, who's wondered where that's been
5th
for
flag.
this game.
It's Andy
But
to throw first.
the game goes on.
Game on. $26. 100.
All of a sudden, Andy Hamilton seems to have lost his scoring boots, which, you know, I've said that he's going to go at a 180.
100. 98.
There's one final push needed for Andy Hamilton, his last fixture here, one for the day, before he can go back to the hotel and reflect on what would have been a very successful day's work.
100. 82.
You'd be very, very pleased with that haul, and you'd be thinking maybe just a win tomorrow would be enough. 8 points usually is.
What
a time to find his first maximum. Just to regain authority in this game.
99. Andy, you require 95.
Got options here. Bullseye or treble 19. Double 19. Oh, what a little spell that is from Andy Hamilton. 5 perfect darts to end the leg and to end the match. A big embrace for Tommy Morris. The hammer hug after dishing out a hammer ring. A 4-1 victory for Andy Hamilton, who is now top of the table, having won 3 of his 4 matches tonight. A really decent night of darts for the hammer, who will return tomorrow, maybe only needing a win, possibly 2, but a good start for him. Tommy Morris will return in the last fixture of the evening, but before that, John Michael is looking for his first points against Jeff Smith. Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where John Michael, I don't know what he's doing. I just don't think he's interested in practicing, is he, John Michael, on the stage? Well, Jeff Smith is told to carry on practicing. John Michael just stood there with his darts behind his back, his hands behind his back. He doesn't want any practice darts. This is... I'm all right, he's saying. I don't want to practice. No, carry on, Jeff. This is strange. It's ever so strange.
I don't know what I can add to this.
First leg, it's John to throw first. Game on.
I mean, I've seen people not interested in practice darts. I mean, Scott Williams used to throw all three in at the same time.
Is it some kind of mind game?
85.
Certainly melted my mind. I don't know about Jeff Smith's.
140.
So maybe that was what he was doing in the previous game as well, with the hands behind the back. Just didn't want to throw practice darts. I don't really understand that.
95. $100. 85. 100.
Can the player be made to throw practice darts? I mean, you've been in that. Have you ever been in a similar situation to that? Because usually there is a quota of practice darts that you have to have before the referee calls game on.
I've been in the other situation where we've ended up with loads of practice. I won't name the player, but I'll give you a story
91.
in the next leg.
John, you require 136.
Well, it was an interesting start
40.
to the match, but it looks like the leg is going to be lost by John
Jeff, you
Michael
require
here.
70.
Jeff Smith on 70 to break the throw. Okay, it may not be lost. Okay, it may be lost. Nice.
Game
It
shot
is
on the
lost
first
by
leg,
John
Jeff
Michael.
Smith.
He was looking a little lost on the stage at the moment.
Second leg, it's Jeff to throw first. Game on.
Go on and tell us your little story, because I guess often what happens is you'll be asked, is 6 darts okay from you,
14.
Matt?
Yep, so how it works on the tour is you'll have a couple of throws, and whoever's throwing first for the ball will go, shall we go 9 from me? And you'll throw 9 darts each.
82.
Well, it was a UK Open qualifier. It is in one of the latter stages. I believe it was quarter-final. And had gone up
123.
after the officials tell you how long you've got. Oh, you've got 10 minutes. Okay, brilliant. So 10 minutes have passed. So I've gone up to the board, started playing. And as I was going up, the official was coming over to get me anyway. So I thought, okay, we're ready to go. I stood there for about 10-15 minutes, throwing my darts. Opponent comes up.
83.
We'd thrown a few darts, and I was ready to go. So I said, shall we go 9 from me? He goes, no, I want 21.
And that was accepted.
95.
Yeah.
Can you remember who was officiating?
I can't know, but I remember having to stand there for
81.
21 darts, thinking, come on.
No, John Michael didn't want any. He was happy for Jeff to practice, to be fair, wasn't he? He was saying, you carry on, Jeff, but I'm standing
59.
here, mate. Did then respect the double 9 that he hit, offered him the obligatory John Michael's fist bump at the end of the opening
Jeff,
leg.
you require 130.
Even chucked in a pat on the back.
What would he have done if he'd have taken out the 130? He could break back.
50.
Here, John Michael.
John, you require 100. $60. Jeff, you require 80.
One dart tops. 2-0.
Shot on the second leg, Jeff Smith. Third leg, it's John to throw first. Game on.
It's just comical to watch. The bits in between legs with John Michael are often more entertaining than what actually
85.
happens during the leg.
I get the feeling you'd like to
100.
John Michael here every week.
I just want him to follow me around, congratulating me for everything good that I do in my life.
100. $140.
Imagine just sort of doing it, stood at the door, and when everyone gets into work at time,
41.
John Michael's there just giving the fist bump.
Well, it'd cancel out that feeling I get from the missus where I can't do anything right.
125.
Well, the right thing to do here would be to go for the bull.
140.
Gets away
Jeff,
with
you
it.
require 136.
But I'm pretty sure he'll start on the bull when
John,
he
you
comes
require
back.
135.
And if he gets a treble 20, he'll end on the bull.
63. Jeff, you require
But this for
40.
3-0, and it's a miserable night for Michael.
$35.
He gets his chance.
John, you require 72.
Double 10.
Game shot on the third leg.
John Michael manages a leg.
Fourth leg, it's Jeff to throw first. Game on.
Can he manage a win before signing off for the evening?
140.
The amount that he is
100.
offering that fist bump, he's actually leaving himself vulnerable to mind games, isn't he? A different type of mentality to Jeff Smith, who's
91.
a gentleman. Say someone like Matthew Edgar might just blank him.
I'll tell you how much of a gentleman John Michael is, actually.
100.
So he actually was on a table on the Pro Tour with myself, and my partner was there, and a few other players was on the same table. And I was over practicing
85.
on the other side of the room. He walked over to me at the practice puts to ask if it was okay to talk to my partner
60.
because he wanted the he didn't want to speak to her without my permission.
And did you let him?
No, I said, you sit there, pal.
45. $41. Jeff, you require 140.
Oh, decided to go tops tops there.
100.
I thought the story was going to end that you said yes, and then he walked straight over and asked for a phone number.
140. Jeff, you require 40.
Well, the number in question here is 40 for Jeff Smith. That becomes 10.
30.
And John Michael here
John, you require 60.
could level up with a break to boot as well. Topsy wants one dart at it. Should have had a
20.
couple.
Jeff, you require 10. Game shot on the fourth flag, Jeff Smith.
Jeff Smith takes advantage. John Michael again congratulates him.
Fifth flag, it's John to throw first. Game on. $100. $134.
He might not be smiling himself, John Michael, but he's making everybody else smile.
59.
We do have a potential table situation here, which we haven't really pointed you in the direction of so far. If Jeff Smith is to win this game, and David Cameron goes on to beat Tommy Morrison the next, we've got clear separation in the table in those top three positions,
100.
where they'll actually be separated by 4 points.
Yeah, and even worse for John Michael, because he'll be 6 points off the top three. I asked you earlier, does he have to win a match tonight? You said he didn't have
59.
to, but if that run of results in the last two plays out, it might be a case that he did have to.
180.
And he still might. That maximum by Michael
135.
gives him an opportunity.
John, you require
But Jeff
62.
Smith straight back in the trebles, putting the pressure on this
30.
and maybe affecting
Jeff, you
the
require
miss.
52. $34. John, you require 32.
Well, Smith can't find his favourite
Game shot
double.
on the
John
fifth
Michael
leg. John Michael
gets another leg. Now he's offering the apology. And now he's spurned. John Michael has
Sixth
just
leg, it's Jeff to
spurned a
throw
fist
first.
bump.
Game on.
That is the most hilarious thing you will see this week. If you've watched every one of his matches, every one of his legs, he's offered a fist bump to the opponent. When they've
60.
given it to him, he's marched straight past him. It's laughable.
121. $60. 57.
Well, that has just broken me and Matthew Ecker in the commentary box. Who's a funny man?
140. $100.
You all right, Matthew?
Just give me an hour.
93.
Well, can he somehow work his way back into this game?
60.
Well, not
Jeff,
with
you require
visits like that.
148.
He's miscounted. He scored 60 to leave a bogey.
44. 59. Jeff, you require 104.
Both players on 104. Can Jeff Smith wrap it up? He's got the first poke. Couldn't.
52. John, you require 104.
But nor can John.
44. Jeff, you require 52. Game shot and the match.
And Jeff Smith gets it done. It's been a nightmare night for John Michael in the end. No points, no wins. Does he have no hope going into tomorrow? 4-2 victory for Jeff Smith that sees him move on to 6 points. And as Matthew Edgar mentioned, if David Cameron beats Tommy Morris in the next game, then he will be on 6 points too. Stay with us for that. Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series for one last match this night, and it features Tommy Morris and David Cameron. Cameron, who's looking to join Jeff Smith and Andy Hamilton in achieving 3 wins out of 4 matches and therefore 6 points. So this is a really big game ahead of tomorrow, because if Tommy Morris wins, he's level on points with Cameron in joint third, and of course 3 players go through from the 5 in this group. It's looking miserable for John Michael, who was almost in finals night until right at the death in Group A, but he has had a torrid evening, losing all of his matches, and now Morris is looking to move 4 points clear.
First
But an
leg,
even
it's
worse
Tommy to throw
outcome for
first.
Michael would be a victory
Game
for
on.
Cameron that would see him be 6 points ahead of the Greek going into the final day of action.
100.
Sort of feel John Michael's best opportunity here is to see a Tommy Morris win. But he's been at both levels of the extreme scale today, as Tommy Morris 4-0 defeat,
45.
4-1 win, or 4-0 win, and then 4-1 defeat. Not been embroiled in any tight battles.
180.
But the gun is firing.
$60. $93.
And Morris with the maximum in his second
100.
visit.
Tommy, you require
Helped him get down to a
128.
finish first. It's all been pretty one-sided in his games. Tommy Morris tonight.
88.
A 4-0 defeat in his opener to Jeff Smith, a 4-0 win over John Michael, and then a 4-1 loss to Andy Hamilton last time out.
$140. Tommy, you require 40. Game shot on the first leg, Tommy Morris.
Authoritative start from Tommy Morris.
Second leg, it's David to throw first.
13 data
Game on.
to hold his throat.
$60.
Oh, he's on it here, isn't he? He is absolutely firing.
Well, certainly managed to save his best for last, it seems.
$100.
So far, staggering stuff from Tommy Morris.
I reckon with the speed of which Tommy Morris throws, if he was to hit a 9 darter, I reckon it'd be the quickest one ever in terms of the amount of time he actually spends at the hockey.
Well, he doesn't waste time in getting there either, does he? Everything he does is quick.
41.
A real jack-in-the-box type character, Tommy Morris.
$45. $60. $100. $60. Tommy, you require 116. $76.
Tommy Cheese up tops to break David Cameron here.
$100.
It's a 13
Tommy,
darter
you
in the
require
opener.
40. $20. David, you require
three.
80.
darts, 3 opportunities there.
$70.
You'll get 3 more.
Tommy, you require $20.
Can he hit? Well, you can see how far he's had to move. It's difficult for him to see this.
No score.
Couldn't quite tell from the
David, you
angle,
require
but
10.
Morris couldn't see much of that.
$6. Tommy, you require 20.
6 is the number of darts that Tommy Morris has had already to get the
It's
leg
on
done.
the
He does it on the
second leg,
7th time of
Tommy
asking.
Morris.
And despite the fact it took him a while, despite the fact he had to dodge some darts himself, the most important thing
Third
there is
leg,
that he's
it's
got
Tommy to
that
throw
breaker
first.
throw on the board.
Game on.
And finally getting there.
100.
And halfway to getting the win that would put him level on points with David Cameron. What has been an all or nothing night for Tommy Morris.
80.
David Cameron has had a couple of close encounters.
125.
4-3 win against John Michael, a 4-3 defeat against Jeff Smith. And he beat Andy Hamilton 4-1. Hamilton's only defeat. It looks like a very good result now, that.
100. $81.
It's the final fixture of the day. We'll then be back tomorrow from 1 p.m. Decision day.
99.
We'll find our 5 players that join Bradley Roos on Saturday night final.
100.
In a very, very strong position here, Morris. David Cameron's going to have to hit really big to put any kind of pressure on.
58.
All he can do is leave an
Tommy, you require
absolute
95.
enormous one.
55. David, you require 164. $44. Tommy, you require 40.
For 3-0.
Game shot on
The
the
other
third
game
leg.
Tommy has won
Morris.
tonight. He actually won it by 4 legs to 0. He's in that situation here where he's a leg away from
Fourth leg. It's David to throw
winning
first.
2 of his 4
Game on.
fixtures. And now we done both by the scoreline of 4-0.
Yeah, David Cameron looking a little bit like a rabbit caught in the headlights.
100.
Just stunned by this Tommy Morris brilliance.
41. $180.
Well, that is an incredible dart. Totally unintentional. Tommy Morris will take that deflection.
$100. $80. David, you require 121. $81. $90. David, you require 40.
Cheeky. Trying to get it done with a 170. Oh, he's going to get a
20.
shot.
Tommy, you require
He
170.
wanted this. He deliberately set it up for this way.
And it's on. Oh, it looks so inviting and he knows it.
105. David, you require 20. Game shot on the fourth flag, David Cameron.
Well, David Cameron claims a leg, keeps the game going.
Fifth flag, it's Tommy to throw first. Game on. $140. $99. $45. $81. $23.
Well, that just makes things a bit interesting now for David Cameron. He's been encouraged by the bounce out, the misfortunes of one player, or the fortunes of another.
59.
Not able to take advantage.
$100.
Morris was playing some electrifying stuff at the start of this match. He'll want to make sure he gets over the line. That'll make a huge difference because suddenly he's level with Cameron in third
55.
place. He's only a couple of points off the top two. But if he loses this match, he's 4 points
97.
away from the all-important top three.
$99. Tommy, you
Treble
require
for a
96.
match start.
56. David, you require 108.
Took 3 of these out so far tonight. Not going to get a shot here. So Tommy Morris
40.
to make it 2
Tommy, you
wins
require 40.
on the opening night.
Tops for Tommy. 10s for Tommy. Double 5.
Game shot.
Morris
and the match.
finds it.
Tommy Morris.
Morris wins it. Defeats David Cameron 4-1. He's had a 4-0 win and a 4-0 defeat. 4-1 defeat and now a 4-1 win. Beats David Cameron to make it very, very interesting. Very, very close going into the final day of this group tomorrow. And Tommy Morris is certainly amongst the contenders to make it through to finals night. Myself and Matthew Edgar will reflect on all of the action at the other side of this short break. Right, time to reflect on what's happened tonight so far in Group B. Matthew Edgar, that last result makes it much more competitive, doesn't it, going into tomorrow?
Yeah, I think Tommy Morris needed that, and so did John Michael. I think they would have been the other way around, it would have been a 6-point gap then for John Michael and a 4 for Tommy Morris. That's the first game tomorrow as well, so we could have been looking at a group that was pretty much closed after fixture 1 tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's recap the results from the 10 matches tonight. There they are. Jeff Smith 4-3 over David Cameron to start. Smith was looking good when he beat Morris 4-0, but then was beaten himself by Andy Hamilton. 3 wins for him, though. Really good night for him. Morris has had that sort of contrasting evening. 2 4-0 results, 1 each way, and then the same with the 4-1s. But John Michael is kind of the player that needs to be spoken about the most, because we've mentioned it in comms. He was there. He was pretty much had a foot in finals night from Group A, and it's all gone horribly wrong since then.
Well, you say talk about John Michael. Where do I start with John Michael? Because it's been one week for him. So close in Group A. He was there. He was in. He was 4 points clear. All he had to do was win one of those last games. It didn't work out. Bradley ended up winning his last game in a bit of a tight tussle. He ends up dropping into a Group B. I thought he'd drop into this and actually be quite encouraged, but instead he's lost all those games today, and he's looked dejected at times. He's looked very disconnected at times. He's not been that John Michael that we've seen, that sort of jovial guy. Even the fist pumps were slowing down towards the end, where early on in the week, the fist pumping someone for taking a double 3.
Slowing down is one way of describing it. I mean, John Michael tonight, all week we've been talking about him giving out fist bumps for fun, and there he just completely blanks Jeff Smith offering one for him. That just kind of makes your point, doesn't it?
And the thing is, at that point, John Michael's offered that and done that every single leg to that point, so he must have expected it was going to come back, because Jeff Smith probably felt obliged at that point to sort of like return the gratitude or the gesture, shall we say. So very surprising, but he even deliberately looked away. I think I laughed at the next leg after that one.
Yeah, it was a rather bizarre moment, that from John Michael, but it's been rather brilliant from Jeff Smith for most of the night. What have you made of him as a whole?
I probably expected a little more, but he's on debut. That's something we've got to remember all the time. This is all new to him. When you come into something like this, it does feel different. Even someone like myself who's played in this before, now having like different facilities, the moving of things like the practice room, again, it made it all feel different, and it's a completely different vibe. Despite the fact I spend so much time down here as a commentator, when you're playing it feels different again. So coming into something where you didn't know where anything was, little things do matter. Where are the toilets? Where can I get a drink from? Where can I, these are all different things that you've got to try and work out when you're here, at the same time as trying to produce your best. I think we'll see better from him tomorrow.
The other Canadian in the group we've seen all week, David Cameron, he had his moments, didn't he? There was one spell where he had back-to-back 3-figure finishes tonight, but would he be happy with 2 wins from 4?
I think he'll be content. I don't think he'll be happy, I think he'll be content. But I think the way we can really describe David Cameron now is just dangerous. It is one of those players that I don't think the players want to play, because you don't know what you're going to get from him. You can't get a read on him. He's been a bit wavy in his performance, which makes it awkward. And at times, he gets it so right. So I certainly wouldn't want him in a practice room if you're going up against him at that night.
Have we seen a hangover today from 2 players? Because David Cameron, interestingly, won a key match against Jim McEwen to get himself into this group. McEwen missed out on Group B and struggled in Group C. And, of course, John Michael missed out on finals night and struggled in Group B.
I think Michael's just disappointed, isn't he? He sort of carried that through with him tonight. He probably feels he should be in finals night already. I feel he should be in finals night. I think anyone who watched Group A will feel that John Michael should have been there, and he let it slip. And he's just probably dwelled on that all day, rather than thinking, right, okay, what's ahead of me? Just stuck in the past a little bit there, and it really came through tonight.
I get the sense he's been impressed by Andy Hamilton, who was the bookies' outsider to win this group.
I think the fact we're talking about him last, and the fact that we haven't really spoke about him the whole time, he's just completely gone under the radar. Outsider, certainly not. Consistent, methodical, awkward to play, and he's played well tonight, but just doing the right things. He's not been spectacular. He's dug himself out of holes at times. The 158 finish when he was sort of trailing and looking like he was going to go further behind. So there's been good moments, but I think he's the traditional sort of gone under the radar, good consistency through the night. We probably will be speaking about him at the end of play tomorrow.
Yeah, well, let's just dissect the league table at the halfway stage. It will be completed tomorrow. Another 4 matches each. John Michael's got a mountain to climb, but it could be any 3 of the other 4, you would think.
I think we're down to 3 out of 4 now, and that first game tomorrow will be the one we've just watched there, David Cameron against Tommy Morris. I think that could be really telling. The winner of that one will probably join Hamilton and Jeff Smith.
There we go. So that's what Matthew thinks. And of course, we've got Group C again tomorrow as well. Having seen all the players now this week, who would you be thinking is the most likely winner of the week come Saturday night?
I think we know which way I'm going to go with this. I'm going to stick with Jeff Smith. Yes, he hasn't shown his best tonight, but I know there's plenty more in the locker. And I'm going to go with Smith for, as I said earlier, series.
Yeah, big call from Matthew Egger, Super Smith at the Super Series. Thank you. We'll see you again tomorrow. Hope to see you again as well. At 1 p.m. UK time, the action gets back underway in Group C, and then Group B will begin its conclusion from 10 p.m. for another double dose of darts here at the MODUS Super Series.